Welcome to Monday, November 21st, 2022. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Check them out at cowboystatedaily.com. Also brought to you by Chugwater Chili, the gourmet spice of Western life. Get 20% off your purchase when you use the code ChugwaterDon at checkout. As we head here into the Thanksgiving week, well, as we saw here over the last couple of days, a little bit more of a moderate weather pattern, not nearly the bitter cold that we had for most of last week. It'll be a good start travel weather-wise to this week as temperatures moderate, and for today and Tuesday will be dry. So if you're traveling today or tomorrow, really not much going on. There's one little hitch in our giddy-up, and that is going to be late Tuesday night through Wednesday evening. There's a fast-moving little wave front coming out of the Pacific Northwest. It's not much of a front, but it's going to bring some snow to the high country. And there is going to be some snow showers across the low elevations on Wednesday. Again, I don't want to overplay this front. It's not really going to be a big weather maker, but a lot of people are going to travel on Wednesday. So you need to be ready for a little bit of weather, especially if you'll be driving over the higher mountain passes of the central and northern Rockies. Then as we get on into Thanksgiving Day Thursday through the weekend, we really don't see much. So I think from the travel standpoint, Thanksgiving Day through Thursday into the weekend looks okay. There's a little system that may produce some snow showers over the mountain passes again over the weekend, not a big system. Then it looks like another round of cold weather may be in the offing right as we get to the end of November and into early December. We'll show you that here in a minute. Satellite photos this morning show very little going on in the west. Very, very, very quiet weather conditions as we're looking at the weather beginning to improve. This area of cloudiness up here in the Gulf of Alaska, part of a low, part of that wave that's going to come through here on Wednesday. Now we have some really awesome photos that have come in during the cold wave of last week across the Intermountain West. When you get super cold like we did, you get these amazing photos of where ice does a lot, whether it's accumulation on fence posts like this up in Montana, or you get, again, in Montana, you get the snow dogs, where you get these small ice crystals in the air reflecting from the sunlight, giving you these sun pillars, or sun dogs as they're called. Here, common occurrence when you've got snow, ice crystals, and really, really cold temperature readings. And another great shot out of Pinedale last week, these are called light pillars. This is because of the hexagon-formed shaped ice crystals that form in these really frigid temperatures during the winter season, and it then directs the light and looks like these columns of light just shooting up into the air. This is really common, especially from parking lot lights, where you get a situation like this. But with the westerly flow, now we get a more mild air mass coming into the region, which means that most of the United States, here to start Thanksgiving week, will see more moderate weather. 77 to over 80 inches of snow in the Buffalo, New York area from that lake effect snow. For anybody that wants to see some amazing shots of big piles of snow, just go on the internet and you'll see them. Now this is the temperature anomaly for tomorrow. So you can see that it's not as cold, but there's a lot of blue there. So most of the country is still a little bit below average, but more moderate than we've been here lately. Here comes this wave for late Tuesday night and Wednesday. Here it is. It doesn't look like much, does it? And it really isn't much, but it's a Pacific front with moisture. These types of waves usually make it a situation where you're going to see a few inches of snow up into the higher mountains, and there's going to be a little bit of snow shower activity on the plains. There's the precipitation with it, and this is the snowfall with it. Again, not a big weather maker, but enough if you're traveling Wednesday. Just allow a little extra time, and you can see where we could have a little bit of snow. The I-80 corridor, the mountain passes of Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, back into Montana. These are the temperatures for Thanksgiving Day Thursday. A little colder than average, nothing off the charts. Just kind of a continuation of this trend here in November, which certainly has gotten colder. Now, by Thursday night into Friday, that same Pacific wave now becomes a more organized storm into the Midwest. And this system is going to curve its way up into New England. Now, as it stands right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be a big Thanksgiving weekend storm, but it kind of needs watched because these situations can spin out of control really quickly if the low becomes better organized and stronger. As you can see, Thanksgiving weekend, across parts of the Northeast and Midwest, there is some snow. Not a lot, but some. But there'll be rain, clouds, and wind, and possibly some airport delays in those areas as well. But in our part of the West, we have all of this weather that you see right here, basically just associated with that Wednesday front. And that weak trough, here it is. This little guy right here, this little wave's going to come in Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, mainly bringing the mountains a little more snow. But in the longer term, well, here we go again. This is right around November 30th, December 1st. So the middle of next week, we start to see high pressure wanting to form again in the Eastern Pacific. And you know what that means? That means the door to Canada potentially gets open again. And then there you go. The door gets open and there's the blue arrow showing the cold Canadian air possibly having access back into the western United States. And there's your temperature anomalies for right around December 1. Another potential shot of cold coming to start December. We'll put a question mark on that. We'll see. But it does appear to be the trend here lately to have this pattern maybe repeat. And if we look at the Eastern Pacific Oscillation, see how it's going back into a normal phase now, hence the warm-up. But look at this. Whoa! The control run and the average run of all the 51 model runs that make up this teleconnection, the Eastern Pacific Oscillation, strongly possibly going into the negative phase into early December. That's a cold signal for the United States. This is also a cold signal. The Arctic Oscillation is going to go into the negative phase at the same time as the Eastern Pacific Oscillation. So, despite this little trend back to mild weather here for a bit, milder weather, we may go into early December with some cold weather again. We will keep an eye on it for you. Have yourself a great Monday. We will see you tomorrow.